I understood to some extent. I started to have visions of things that happened in my past where persons told even lies on me, and I saw that they were the ones who did whatever they were trying to pin on me and all these things. As I said, I got a lot of visions. I used to write them down, but I always noticed that they were trying to sneak into my stuff, so like trying to get into my book. Do you hear that? They're always trying to get into my book to read my visions and all these things because they wanted to know if I knew about their deeds and all these things. So I was there, and as I said, I realized that they were sending spirits towards me and all these things. No, I was very powerful in the realms. I am very powerful in the realms, and I didn't understand at that time, but I knew that there was just something about me. And I prayed a lot, and I had the knowledge of how, I just had the inner knowing of how to send back spirits and all these things. And everything they sent, I would send it back. Everything they sent couldn't hit me, so they started to hit them around me. A self-proclaimed mother and self-proclaimed sister. There was also this pastor who was exposing his family from the community where I grew up, which was Colonel's Ridge. He was exposing his family also, and they were putting heat on his head and all these things. He said there was a David from Mahohill, that's the district where I was from. There's another David in Mahohill, and I just knew somehow that it was me who was speaking. And we even spoke on the phone a few of the times. And he was telling me that I was a prophet and all these things, and it was from there I found out that even my self-proclaimed sister was jealous of me and all these things. Now fast forward, I was there. They sent spirits and I sent it back. And in real time I saw where it manifested, where the spirits were on the person who sent them towards me, which was the cousin of the self-proclaimed mother. They were there screaming out and bawling out to Jesus and saying they saw dragons and all these things, because those are the spirits they sent to me, and I sent them back and all these things, because they were deep in Obia and all these things. I had even vision where I saw where they were using their mother who passed on to come up against me, and didn't work, so they sent it out for self-proclaimed mother, and it overcame her. I was there, and she was acting all weird and all these things. It was like I knew that she did something very dark, but she wanted to know if I knew, because she has a problem with her eye, which was a result of something that she did very dark. She did something to someone and it returned back to her. It was returned back to sender. She has a tumor in her eye, and I was there praying for her and trying to help her to be healed, because I knew I had the power of healing. I even healed my self-proclaimed sister in one instance from something that was wrong with her breast. I also picked up on her having some form of disease, which I didn't make known unto her because I knew how they would react and all these things. So I was there, and she even, a self-proclaimed mother, she even left the house, and to me it was all like I was there. It was like it was me fighting against her, when really and truly it was them fighting against her. But she think that it was really me because I was there, and I was getting visions of everything. I saw everything clear, and was there, and the ancestors came to me and said it was time to leave. I got visions. They came to me in visions and said it was time to leave. There I saw the happenings happen just as the vision came to me, and I knew that yes, it was the time to leave. I left and went back. In the vision, I was told that I should go to my self-proclaimed father. I went back to him, which was also some form of spell work also. I went back to him and I told him that I was a prophet and all these things. And he knew already. Was around him for a little while. Started to go to bush with him and all these things. Was the same situation where he didn't want to pay me and all these things, little and nothing. So I started to get visions where I saw that he was going to have me as a goat, tying me out. You know that situation of a goat, you only can go to the extent of the rope that is around your neck. So I got a vision of that, and it so happened that he brought me down here where I am now for the weekend to come and clean up, and that I was down here and cleaning up and all these things. We went back up, and somehow one of my cousins got a job and called me, and I made it known to him, and came back down here. When I came back down here, I got into connections with a lady through him when we first came. And when I came back here, I went down by that lady, and she let me know about the art school which I was going to down here. So I let him know that I would start to go into the art school. So that was how I came here. So I was here on my own and all these things, and going to the art school. Here was where I started to go to church. Down here was where I got baptized. But I was awoken, as I said, and I was selective on which church I would go, because I knew to myself that I was the church and all these things. I had inner standing of things, and I didn't let go of everything that I had learned, even about my ancestors and all these things. Even though when I tapped into this Jesus thing, it was like I was shunning my ancestors and all these things, even though they were always still around, and I was here and got baptized and all these things. And I got baptized, it was about a week or two after I got a revelation that the church I was going, they weren't on the right path. I left that church, started to go into a Saturday church, was there for a while, When I was here also, I was still going on job works with my cousin, which was how I got money to pay for the course I was doing. I was doing a welding course done by Hazard Skill Training Center. 25,000. And I also got money from my self-proclaimed father, because he used to come like every week or 2 weeks and he would give me 5,000. So in the situation that I was in, I didn't have to take taxi or anything. I walked to school or I ride my bicycle, because it wasn't really far and I was used to walking journeys and all these things. So I walked to school or ride to school, and I would save most of that money. So I saved about 25,000, and I planned on investing, but I was always letting him know my plans. That was where I went wrong. I was always making him know my plans. I invested it, and I invested it on HFX, a platform where it's like a platform where you can have persons trade for you, and there would be a split of the money. So I invested 100 USD, knowing that it should have grown interest, but somehow, because I told him about it, they were behind the scenes working against me. On weekends the market should be closed. To my surprise, when I invested on the weekend that the market should be closed, I saw trades still open on my account, still running and lessening my money, until I saw that all that money was finished, which was their orchestration. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it was spell work or whatever, but all I know, all of my money went to nothing. When I started going to the Saturday church, there were these ladies who were helping me, 2 ladies. One of them helped me to buy clothes, church clothes and all these things. The other gave me money. She gave me about 16,000. They both said the Holy Spirit said to give it to me. But it was also orchestrations too, which is how I got this Chromebook. I had one before, but it started to malfunction, and I brought it back with about 5,000 extra and got this one from the same person that I bought the first one from. So I was down here and starting to realize things happening around me. I don't think I really need to speak back on the things that I have already spoken on. So as you saw, I exposed a lady for her wrongdoings, who was coming around like she was a friend of mine because of the church thing, even though she wasn't a church goer. Yes, so bam bam bam, I got visions and all these things, and found out that the church that I was going, the Saturday church, wasn't up to no good either, and I stopped going. I was a weed smoker before I started to smoke weed again, and all these things, which were also spell works and all these things, because they were trying to bring me back in cycles, to bring me back to the past. There was this time where I wasn't really getting any visions because they were blocking my third eye and all these things. Now, when I used to come from high school in the evenings, I always see lizards around the house. Lizards were always watching me, which was the reptilian next door the man that I exposed, who is currently doing spell work on me even right now at this moment, which is why you always hear the roosters crowing, you always hear the post making sounds, because those are, when he sends the post to make sound, that's some form of projection. He attacks me through the post. As I told you, cats are spiritual gatekeepers. Some of you may not understand that, but yes. So back to also with the producer, who I said was a drug dealer. When I was run by my self-proclaimed mother, he made contacts with me and told me to go to this particular studio. When I went with a cousin of mine, which is the son of my uncle, not the self-proclaimed father, but the brother of the self-proclaimed father, one of the brother of the self-proclaimed father. I went to the studio, recorded a song. I was there for a long while waiting. Recorded the song. I noticed that after I recorded the song, and the producer, who was also an artist, when I started to speak on the knowledge that I had about the industry and all these things, and like royalties and all these things, he wasn't interested anymore, because it seems like they were planning, well, it doesn't seem, they were planning to rob me, and I was told that I should continue to go to the studio. I went to that studio about 3 or 4 times after calling the producer before I left out, and when I went there, he wasn't present, and I just let that go. The man who was the drug dealer, he would still call me and all these things and speak to me and say that he would call the producer and talk to him and all these things. But I know that he was jealous of me because he saw the talent within me and where I could reach and all these things, even though he had talent too. But it was all a competition thing. So I wasn't really interested anymore. When I got into the Christianity thing, I tore up the book that I had with all my songs, over 100 and odd songs. I tore them up all and threw them away and burned them. Yes. And those were all orchestrations to set me up, to say I was dealing in drugs. I think that is why they were saying that I was a part of these drugs ring and all these things, which were them who are a part of these things, because they are all connected. There is this other drug dealer who was sending money to my self-proclaimed father for his mother, because he's so stupid that he couldn't see that he was being set up, because the drug dealer was sending money to him, didn't send it himself. He had persons he paid to send it to him, but he said he couldn't read. He said he can't read and all these things. So one of the time he brought me with him to collect the money, and I did I was the one who was speaking with the teller and all these things. He signed and collected the money and all these things. But it was also a plan to get me in a trap to say I was the one who was collecting the money. But I don't know what he was thinking because it was his name that the money came in and not mine. It was his signature and not mine. So yes, so I found out that he was trying to set me up in that covert manner to say I was in cahoots with drug dealer and all these things. So when I came here now, I think I already spoke on that. When I came here, I was back to where I was saying that I stopped going to church and started to tap into my spirituality and started connecting back with my ancestors, started to bring across messages on my YouTube channel and all these things. That was where I really started to getting attacks. But all this time, as I said, I used to come home and see monitoring spirits, lizards, but it wasn't working. So they used fear-seeking tactics and all these things to get me to go back to where he was, which was in March, because I was where he was from in March until in April, where things started to transpire and I had to leave from around him. But the reptilian voodoo priest next door was always working up against me, but nothing that he was doing wasn't working because I was a prayer warrior. I'm a prayer warrior and I had the knowledge of how to send back whatever was being sent to me. So what they did was have him connect himself to me spiritually, which I wasn't aware of, which was how they started to attack me. The real way. I have been through life and death experiences. Some people might see me and say that, oh, he's strong. Yes, I am, but I have been through it all. I can tell you there were days that I was being attacked where I couldn't even get up out of bed. There were days where I was being attacked where I think I wouldn't make it to see another day. A lot of unexplainable things, a lot of paranormal activities happening around me. Being in this house and seeing frogs jumping out of nowhere. How that frog got in here, I don't know. A lot of paranormal activities. It was this time, I spoke about this already, where that little thing at the back of my throat, which they were fucking with my throat chakra, I saw it lean to one side. It was this time they poisoned me spiritually. I was vomiting some green stuff, which was also the works of that lady who I exposed, because how I knew. This is the thing, you see, for me, this is a part of my gift. If someone is planning to do something to me, they have to expose it to me before they do it, without even knowing that they are exposing it to me, which is cool. So whenever I get the attacks, I know where it is coming from, because it has already been exposed to me. If it hasn't been exposed to me by the person who would do it, I would get it from the exposure of whatever would happen to me by who, from my ancestors, so I would always be ahead of them. Like, for instance, if someone was planning to poison me or anything, they would tell me that, I had a cousin who was poisoned and such happened to him or her, because they were planning to do me the same thing. And when it happened, it would be the same occurrences and the same explanation of whatever they told me that their cousin or whoever was being attacked by someone else happened to them, and I would know that, oh, it was you who did it. And yes, so even right now, I have the gifts where I can have someone speaking on whatever they did without knowing that they are speaking on it. I can have someone expose themselves without them knowing that they are exposing themselves, because I have the gift of gab. I have the gift of permission. I have the gift within me to dig up all these things. Now, I would like to also speak on, there's this person from Brandon Hill, content who died, where he was hanged, and I think they said that his gold chain was taken away and they stole his money. No. Whoever, I don't know if this message will reach whoever it's supposed to reach, but I guess it will. I would like to say my self-proclaimed uncle knew that man, and he brought me to that man's house once upon a time. That man was a man who sold weed and all these things. He planted weed, and the spirit of that person came to me and made it known to me that you know. Yes, so it was like they were trying to make it look like that man hung himself, but that wasn't the case. That man was hanged. That man was murdered and robbed. Yes, and also from the community that I grew up in, there was this man who was the owner of a shop that was murdered, and there are persons that are incarcerated behind this, whilst one of the persons may be guilty of the charge, one person isn't. And also the person that was being guilty of the charge was someone who was having sexual relations with that person. But I know who the killer is, because the killer told me that he was the one who did it. So I have this gift where you cannot hide anything from me, because I see through the illusions, and persons confess to me without knowing that they are confessing. And as I said, anything I say, I stand on that, and I don't give a fuck if anyone wants to come at me for whatever I have said, because whatever the fuck I have said is the truth, and I stand on that. Some of my karma that I got was also because I should have spoken up on these things, and I didn't. But guess who the fuck is back? No. As I said, I was here and a lot of things went down. I was being gang stalked. You know, there was times where I went outside just to have some fresh air, and even the folk could next door, they have some money that they throw to one side, they would dig it up and stink up the whole place so that I couldn't go outside and all these things. I used to go to the river to catch fishes. As I said, there were 3 instances where I was being approached by 3 killers sent to kill me, and I knew that they were sent to kill me. Confirmation. They were sent to unalive me, but couldn't, because it was like they became a friend of mine, because I don't know, it is the guidance of my spirits and the ancestors. As I said, I have the authority, I have the gift of permission. I can make one who is very smart dumb as fuck in my presence, because I have that gift. And as I say, persons will come towards me with intent and have to reveal it to me, whether or not they want to. Some way, shape or form, they will have to reveal it to me. One of them came, and it was like he came, and it was two of them. They were speaking, and so I was saying, I heard they say that gunmen is at this river and all these things, and rare. And one of them was like, well, we work with energy still. So I was like, oh, so you motherfuckers were sent to kill me. And I picked up on their energy. They were scared. And this is the thing, some of the times I pick up on confirmation. Look at the light, look at the light. Look at the light, look at the light. Look at the light, look at the light, look at the light. See that light dimming? Confirmation. The ancestors are here. The spirit guides are here. Yah is here. They are all here. Confirmation. Most of the times I pick up on energies, I would actually think that it's my energy. That day I was scared as fuck after I left out of their presence, but I didn't understand that wasn't my energy. That was actually their energy. I was there waiting on them to even leave down by the river, and they said they were going to do something else because they were scared. It is amazing. I love my gifts. I love my gifts. More so, I love my ancestors, my spirit guides. Big up yourself, Bob Marley. You don't know. Yes. It is what it is. I am the I am that I am. I was sent here to expose, and I will expose, and I have no fear. I have no fear of death, because I die every day and resurrect, which is how I am the I am that I am, how I have reached this far, how I have ascended this far. I fear no evil, evil feared me. I am being attacked every single day. As I said, there were times up and down. There were times they had me so fucked up that I couldn't even get up out of bed. There were days I was locked up in the house. But it was all for my good, for my higher purpose and best interest. Also, some of it was because of my fault, because I was being guided and I wasn't taking heed. But as I say, everything happens for a reason. Because if it didn't happen this way, motherfuckers wouldn't have gotten exposed. So I question nothing, and I just want to say a big thank you to my ancestors and a big thank you to all my enemies. I think I have already said that before. A big thank you to all my enemies, because without them I wouldn't have been tested and tried this much. I wouldn't have known that I am so fucking powerful. And I just want to give thanks unto the divine. I want to give thanks unto Mama God. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Peace, love, and light unto all the divine beings of planet Kai. I am the psychic investigator, and I will investigate a motherfucker and expose a motherfucker, because a motherfucker will expose themselves for free through the divine powers that work it within me. Peace.